Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair. All topics are for entertainment purposes only. None of the information presented in this video or by VGirlTV should be taken as fact. Every situation is based on personal experience.
Hello, B Squad, and welcome back to a new episode of the VGirl podcast by VGirlTV. Oh God, you couldn't tell me that my hair was a hot mess, y'all. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another video / podcast. I know I've been very consistent on YouTube when it comes to VGirlTV, but the podcast I have been slacking on. Although I have turned a lot of our discussions from past lives into podcast version. So if you have not already done so, please check us out on Spotify, check us out on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on all podcast streaming platforms. Literally, we're on there. We're literally on there. Anyway, guys, so there's a couple of announcements that I wanted to make. If you are interested in sponsoring an episode or just a segment of either our live streams or our regular vlogs on the channel, you can reach out by sending an email to VGirlTVmedia@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. What else? If you have not checked out the mailing list, guys, I'm having a real problem with YouTube not sending out alerts to the subscribers, letting them know that I've either gone live or I have a new video up. So please, please, please check out our mailing list. Sign up for the mailing list. Hold on, guys, because someone is sending me a message. They won't let us be great. Sorry. I hate when people do this while I'm on live. Yeah. All right. So if you are interested in sponsoring any one of our segments or a whole entire show, email me at vgirltv@gmail.com. If vgirltvmedia@gmail.com. If you are interested in just sending a donation, you can do so also at the website www.vgirltv.com because we are live. So there's a lot of things that I have coming up, especially with VGirlTV as well as the podcast, but information will be shared later on as we go. I have a big interview coming up, guys. This person is part of a major cable network, okay, in the US. And I'll be interviewing this person. I'm so excited. I think this will be one of the biggest interviews to date. And I don't want to share it yet because we haven't confirmed the date and everything yet. But just know I did get approval from NBC to interview this individual. So just know your girl is doing big things. All right, guys. So if you are on YouTube, Instagram, please make your way down to YouTube because I won't be able to see your comments. If you are on Facebook, welcome. If you are on Twitch, welcome. If you're on Twitter, welcome. If you are on YouTube, welcome. I see there's a couple of people in here already. Who's in here? I haven't seen any comments. I need you guys to leave comments letting me know who's in here so far. And then we could just dive in. All right, guys. So if you follow me on Instagram, which is I am _B Monroe on Instagram, you would know that I had posted, last night, before I even get into me posting it, last night I had gotten a very, very disturbing video. And it was from one of my mom's friends. And she too had experienced some type of trauma with her daughters in New York City specifically. But the video that she sent me was very disturbing. So in the video, hold on, what's going on right now? Okay, so in the video, there is a woman from the UK, and obviously she is well, not obviously, it's a Caucasian woman, and she is seen. I don't want to play the video on here because the video is very disturbing. But like I said, if you have followed me or if you do follow me on Instagram, then you would already have seen the video because I put it in my stories. But I don't want to put it on YouTube because YouTube, I'm not trying to get no violations. But anyway, in the video, there's a Caucasian woman and she is very upset, fuming to say the least, because she's very pale and you can tell that she's very upset because her face is literally red. And then so she's walking with her daughter, which we find out is her daughter, and she's basically telling her daughter to beat up another student. Now, I, for one, don't understand why, as a parent, you would actually go down to the school with your child to go beat up another student. I mean, there is no explanation to that. Like, violence is never the answer. And trust me, don't get me wrong. If you got to protect yourself, you got to protect yourself. So I'm not about to sit up here and say, oh, somebody slap you, don't slap him back. No, I'm from Brooklyn, guys. But I also don't feel that people should be going out and looking for problems. So anyway, so she brings her daughter or the minor to fight another young lady. The young lady happens to be, um, I can't say African American because she's not American, but she happens to be Black. And apparently, not apparently, when I seen the video, the daughter swung on the Black girl and they started fighting. And then the Black girl, obviously, she was defending herself. I wish I knew her name so I wouldn't have to be calling her the Black girl, but she was defending herself. And as she defends herself, she started she had the upper, what's the word you want to say? The upper hand. Because she flipped the girl over and basically she was defending herself. At that point, when the mother realized that her daughter was getting beat up, she egged on a whole group of other young kids, the youngest being 11 years old at that, okay, to attack this girl. So it was literally like 6, 7, 8, I want to say like 7 to 8 people attacking this young girl. Okay. They pulled her braids because she had braids in her hair. They were yanking her braids. The mother was telling them to stomp her out, kicking her face. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on right now? And so this happened in the UK because at first I couldn't understand where this was happening. I thought it was the US, somewhere in the US. But come to find out it actually happened in the UK. Sorry guys. It seems like every time I am on live or something, or I'm doing a podcast, someone's always calling me. Anyway, so this happened in the UK, and I was just like, what the hell? Like, for some reason, I'm not even going to say, I hate to be so ignorant because this is very ignorant. For some reason, I did not think, and I mean, racism exists everywhere, but for some reason, I didn't think that people were attacking people in the UK because of the color of their skin. And the only reason why I say that is because I know, well, I don't personally know, but I follow a lot of people from the UK, and it always seems like the only country that has issues when it comes to racism is always the US of A. And so I was kind of like, okay, wow, this is from the UK. But the way they were pouncing out this girl, so apparently the fight started out, or the fight was racially, I don't even know why I can't talk. The reason why she was fighting was because of some racial attacks. Apparently, the Caucasian young girl was bullying the Black girl for a very long time. And I guess it, it rolled out into the streets and the mother egged it on. I am going to play you a clip from the news, in the UK. And here we go. So we could get pretty much a clear understanding about actually what really went on, and then we'll go into making comments about it, because as a parent I'm utterly disgusted, because when I saw the video I honestly was thinking about my own kids, especially my son, and how I would react as a mother seeing another mother egging on their kids and other kids to brutally attack my child like that. Okay, so here it is, guys. All right, so this is the police chief of the area in the UK where they're from. And here we go.
Dr. Dallas McDermott, part of the senior leadership team of North Surrey Division. I wanted to bring you this update as we continue to investigate a serious racially aggravated assault outside a school in Ashford. I want you to know that we've arrested 5 people, 4 on suspicion of attempted racially aggravated GBH. 2 of these people were also arrested on suspicion of child neglect and for encouraging an offence to be committed. The victims continue to receive specialist support from officers, and I can confirm that one has been to hospital and received treatment for injuries sustained during the attack. A 15-year-old girl is still wanted in connection with this assault on suspicion of racially aggravated harassment. She knows she is wanted. We're working hard to find her.
First of all, the fact that there's a 15-year-old girl wanted in this assault, and that she knows that they're looking for her and this girl is hiding out, that is telling within itself. That is telling on the kind of parent this young girl has. Well, then again, the parent was the one who brought her down to go fight. Okay.
We ask her to come forward. The video of the assault is incredibly distressing. I understand that people may want to share this footage to raise awareness, but I'm requesting the video isn't shared further for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's incredibly upsetting to the victims and their family and friends to see such footage. They've been through enough. And secondly, it's critical to any future court case that it is not distributed more widely, as there is a risk it could prejudice a trial or hearing.
Okay, first of all, asking people not to share the video, it's kind of too late, because when I actually got the video, I couldn't even forward it to my son and my mom to show my parents what it was in group messages. I had to send it one by one because WhatsApp basically said that the video was shared way too many times, so you're only allowed to share it to one person at a time. I think it's kind of ridiculous that they're telling people not. I mean, I get it. You don't want to share the video because the child is probably extremely embarrassing, but it's kind of too late. The video is already out there. So asking people not to share it at this point, I get it, but it's really kind of too late now.
We've obtained the original video as evidence and are building a case to put to the Crown Prosecution Service. Finally, I urge anyone with additional footage or images, such as dash cam, CCTV, helmet cam, to get in contact with us via direct message so that we can provide you with a link to upload it and help further build our case. Thank you.
First of all, y'all, the video in itself, like at the whole entire video, the fight had to go on for at least 5 minutes. And then 2 men at the end of the video, I guess they were like school officials, nonchalantly walked up to them and part of the fight like nothing, como si nada, okay? Bien relajada, como si nada, like nothing. And they had no sense of urgency in breaking up this fight. So I also blame the school, because there is no way that I send my kids to school to feel protected and stuff like this is happening. Don't get me wrong. Like when I was younger, we had fights, okay? We had fights after school, but not on school property. And this literally happened on school grounds. Literally, how is it possible that the mother was able to even pass security to even start this type of nonsense? And I say this to say this, okay? With this whole situation that happened, the mother did get arrested, and the youngest person to get arrested was 11 years old. Imagine that. An 11-year-old was amongst, I was about to say, ahí dice, right there it says 2 11-year-old girls amongst 5 arrested after racially aggravated attack on schoolgirls near Surrey College. Two 11-year-old girls were among the 5 people arrested after 2 schoolgirls were subjected to a racially aggravated attack outside of college in Surrey on Monday. Shocking footage circulating on social media captured part of the attack and saw the two 15-year-olds set upon outside Thomas Nip College in Asheville about 2:30 p.m. One victim has since received hospital treatment for her injuries. Surrey police said on Wednesday afternoon that after treating the incident as racially aggravated, footage shows one of the victims, who is black, being repeatedly punched and kicked in the head while her hair is also pulled. An adult can be heard shouting, "Kick her in the face." It couldn't have been my child. It couldn't have been my child. Absolutely not. One of the girls' braids appeared to fall out during the attack. While a motorist driving past the scene can be heard blaring their horn. Surrey police said on Wednesday that 4 people have been arrested on suspicion of racially aggravated GPH. A 39-year-old woman. Okay. A 39-year-old woman, a 16-year-old girl, and 11-year-old girls. Okay. The 39-year-old woman and a 43-year-old man have been arrested on suspicion of child neglect and intentionally encouraging and assisting the commission of an indictable only offense. I said indictable? Indictable. Wow. The 16-year-old girl was also arrested on suspicion of malicious communications. Officers are also keen to arrest the 6th suspect, a 15-year-old girl who has so far evaded the police. She knows she is wanted in the connection of the incident, and we encourage her to hand herself over to the nearest police station, said the force. Following the incident, a letter was sent out to the parents by Thomas Nip College principal Richard Beeson. In it, he said, "You may be aware that one of our students was injured in a violent altercation outside of a school yesterday as they were making their way home. We would like to reassure you that the police were called and currently investigating. We are supporting the police as they investigate this matter." All right. So this is one thing that I want to say about this. And I had this conversation with one of my friends in DM. Hold on. Let me finish the article. I didn't realize that there was more to the article. People talk about they're so shocked to see some of the video footage of this fight, the level of violence from young people outside of one of our local schools, violence by the kids, or that the mother is inciting the violence. Because, I was having this conversation, and I think this is really, it happened in the UK, Mike Santana. This happened in the UK. I was having a conversation about this because obviously I posted the video because I was very upset on Instagram. And I was having this conversation with one of my friends who actually responded to the email. And I'm with her 100%. A lot of times we as colored people, we think that sending our kids to schools that are predominantly of one certain race is you're doing your kids a favor. Unfortunately, the world is very cold, and you would think that we are in the year 2023 that most people or everyone will be tolerant of people that are not like them, especially when it comes to your skin color or your race, your nationality. You would assume that people would be a little bit more tolerant because we live in a world that's so diverse and so many different people. And we've came a long way since the civil rights movement, and since we've come a long way. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I'm just gonna say that we've come a long way. And so when you see things happen like this with young kids, okay, because children are not taught to hate. Well, not taught to hate. Children are not born hating people based on the color of their skin. That is taught in the home. Okay. So we're never, ever going to move forward in a society when we as an adult and parents continuously press these type of issues onto our children. So I know I'm like jumping all over the place, but there's a method to my madness. I'm a Gemini, so I'm just all over the place. But I will say this. we as parents, people of color, we think that, okay, we're going to send our school to these predominantly one race type of school because they feel like, oh, we're giving our children an opportunity to advance themselves. And I will tell you this, and I'm telling you this because not based on personal experience, because I've never sent my son to a school where he was the only black kid. Okay. Never did that, never will. Um, but I've know people that are teachers that work in these type of school environments, and they all tell me the same exact thing. The one child that sticks out like a sore thumb, whether they're the only black child or the only Chinese or Asian child or the only Indian child, they will always experience some type of bullying when they are the minority. And I remember a long time ago when I had moved to Panama, my dad wanted my son to go to this school. And I went to the school because here, you get to visit the school, you get to walk around, you get to see what the school is about, you get to speak to the teachers and all that stuff. And I remember my dad was so impressed by the school because he felt like my son would have had an amazing opportunity going to that school because he would have been around diplomats and he would have been around doctors, like people whose children are doctors and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I get it, right? Your network is worth more. So I understand the logic behind it. But me being the person that I am, I was like, absolutely not. And my dad was like, "Well, why not? This you're messing him up. This is a good this could be a good opportunity for him. He'll be exposed to so many different things and blah 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 blah." And I told my father, "Look around. There's no one here that looks like him. The only people that are there that look like him are the people that clean the toilets." And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who clean toilets because a job is a job. But for me, I didn't want my son to be represented as person of that, the only black person in the school. And the other people that are not black are the people who are doing, you know, either cleaning the toilets or whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say because I'm not really trying to offend anyone. But if you understand what I'm saying, leave a comment in the comment section. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm trying to play anybody or I'm saying like, oh, this job is better than any other job or whatever the case may be, because I respect anybody who's making an honest living. But I just didn't want that representation for my son. So anyway, years later, right, I've met several people whose kids went to that school. So now in that school, because the school is based in Panama, they have to take a certain amount of locals, right? And when I say locals, meaning kids from in certain type of areas. So they get like scholarships to go to their school. And they're kids from like barrios, right? Kids that are very educated, they do really well in school, but unfortunately they come from lower economic statuses, and they give them an opportunity to go to these schools. And usually that the ones that are going to these schools are the ones that are in like I said, they live in barrios and they're, mixed, and they are, they're not fully Caucasian. So, if you're mixed, a lot of people still feel like you are part of the minority group or they're black. And make a long story short, I didn't get accepted to the school. I was happy because I wasn't planning to send him to the school either. But years later, I ended up meeting this girl that was a teacher in that school. And I met a couple of parents as well of kids that went to that school. And another thing is, if you work for the school, regardless of what you do, your kids are allowed to go to the school. So that's another takeaway. I don't know if it's still like that, but it definitely was like that before. Like if you work in a school, your kids are allowed to go to school for free. Anyhow, I end up meeting this girl that was a teacher in the school. She was black. And she told me that the things that a lot of these kids experience um, was really depressing. They experience a lot of bullying. They experience a lot of bullying. They experience a lot of microaggression. They experience, and they weren't happy. And then the ones that try to fit in, they find themselves doing things that they normally wouldn't do because they're trying to fit in with a certain group. And I think that when I say we as people of color, we have to think really hard. Is it even, does it make a lot of sense to make our kids the minority in certain situations? I mean, I get it. You want the best for your kids. You want your kids to have the best education. But me personally, as a parent, I don't feel that putting my kid or my kids in a situation where they are the minority is the best choice. And I say this to say, because in this article and in the video, you can clearly see, because I went to the Instagram page from the school as well, and you can literally see the percentage of people of color to the percentage of the rest of the student population. And it's evident that this school, even though they push this whole dynamic that they are a multicultural school, it really isn't multicultural, if you get what I'm trying to say. So, with that being said, the question that I have for you guys really is, do you honestly think that putting our kids in situations where they are the minorities is really the best decision? Let me know in the comment section if you agree or you disagree with that. And if you do agree, let me know why you agree. And if you disagree, let me know why you disagree. Me personally, I wouldn't want that for my kid. The school that my son is in now is actually, it has all different type of people in there. And why I love the school so much is because my son has all different type of group of friends. My son has Black friends, white friends, mixed friends, Indian friends, Asian friends, and everybody gets along just fine. They get along just fine. Now, in the situation with this young girl, I'm not blaming the victim and I'm not blaming the victim's family, because obviously they sent their child to school in good faith and no one expected for their child to go through something like this. The person who I do blame is a 39-year-old woman and a 43-year-old man. Like, who raised y'all? Who raised you guys? That is the most disturbing, weirdest thing that I have ever seen in my life. And well, it's not the worst, because I've seen worse in America. But seeing something like that happen right in front of the school and the parents were involved in it, I think that was like super low. And as a parent, like, how would you react? I mean, I'm gonna be so honest with you guys, because I'm from Brooklyn, and the Brooklyn in me is like, okay, me and the mom is gonna square up. That's what's gonna happen. But the reality of the situation is you can't do that, because you make the situation worse. But I just don't like to see my kids cry. I don't like to see my kids being tormented by someone else. And so I always instill in my children, or my child, on Mia right now, because she is still so young, she doesn't really know right or wrong. When I was running, I always instill in him that do unto others what you want done to yourself. So don't be going outside bullying people. I hate a bully. Always hated a bully, even when I was younger. I was a very popular girl in high school, and I was not around. I was not about to sit around and watch somebody bully somebody else, because no, we're not doing that around here. So I always teach my son the same thing. Don't bully anybody. And if you see somebody bullying somebody, stand up and tell the person that's not right. Okay? Don't be egging on fights. Don't do any of that foolishness. I'm very, very stern when it comes to that, because I cannot stand a bully. I remember in high school when a girl was trying to bully me, but she didn't really know. She didn't know my hand skills was. I'm joking. But anyway, yeah, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this situation as a parent. Like, how would you feel if this was your child? And what do you think that we could do in the future to prevent things like this from happening? Let me know in the comment section. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to my podcast. Finally, we were just about to end it, but guess what? Mike Santana responded. He said, keep it tall. If someone punches your children, it's all. Let me tell you something. I always tell my son, if somebody hits you, hit them back. And I remember my mom used to tell me that also. And when I was younger, when I was in elementary school, my first fight I ever had was in second grade, right? And the girl hit me and I hit her back and we fought in the school cafeteria. So after we fought in the school cafeteria, we both got called into the principal's office. So the principal asked me, "Well, why did you fight her?" And I go, "Well, because my mother told me that if somebody hit me, hit them back." They called my mother to the school and my mother came down and they were like, um, Miss James, like we had a conversation with your daughter and we asked her why she had a fight. And she said that you told her that if somebody hits her, hit her back. And my mother said, yeah, I told her that. And the lady was like, the principal was like, well, guess what? Not in my school. We don't condone that. Basically, she told my mother off. After everything was said and done, my mother was like, you know what, like whatever, like let this lady live. She let her say whatever. When we got home, my mother said, don't listen to her. If somebody hits you, hit them back. And I've always gone by that rule. If somebody hits you, hit the back because you have the right to defend yourself. But then you think about it, it's like with so much going on and someone defending themselves, the situation can turn out way worse. So what do you tell your kids? Do you still tell them, well, defend yourself and then, something happens and then at this point, I don't even know what to do anymore because times have changed since we were young. If someone touches your children, it's so, yeah. Because honestly, I'm gonna tell you, the Brooklyn and me really, like, I swear to God, like the Brooklyn and me really was like, yo, if that was really me, I would have squared up with her mom. Like me and her mother would have went at it. Me and this lady would have went at it because, but we can't do that. What type of examples are we setting for our children? Fighting in the streets. What you think? I know some of my viewers are gonna watch this and be like, this girl is so ghetto. I'm about to unfollow her. Anyway, guys, that is it for the podcast, I think, because no one else is commenting. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, VGirlTV on YouTube, and follow the podcast on all major podcast platforms, which is Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And we're going to be dropping content every Wednesday on the VGirl podcast because the VGirl podcast is going to be lit. What else? I have so much other things that's going to come in store, but we're going to have to save that for another day. We're going to have to save that for another day. And I'm also going to actually make a specific channel for the VGirl podcast by VGirl TV so that you guys are able to see the visuals. So for those of you who follow me on YouTube at VGirl TV and you're not really interested in, current event discussions, and some of you may just only want to hear current event discussions and not really interested in my life in Panama, I'm actually just going to split it up. At first, I was going to keep everything together, but I decided, no, we're just going to separate everything for different audiences. Okay. So anyway, thank you guys for always tuning in to my videos. And as always, peace and love.